What's up, guys? We are back. Peach Fuzz, episode 18.
Yeah.
Almost got a full season of Peach Fuzz under our belt, which is kind of insane. Obviously, last year we were kind of a little bit different style of show, but can't believe we're already almost done year one.
And not live either, so I'm surprised.
Live, yeah, the live.
A day late this week. I figured Mother's Day, let you guys hang out with your moms yesterday, enjoy the day. We get out after it tonight. I knew everybody's kind of hanging out, but maybe traveled to their game already if you're still playing or whatnot, or just hanging out this evening. Maybe you started travel ball practice, but yeah, we're here. We want to get a Final Four Elite Eight episode, I guess, out.
Yeah, for sure.
Glad to be here.
Speaking of the Mother's Day stuff, shout out to 643. We weren't at the park obviously, but I saw the moms out there like hitting fungo pregame and like catching them up. So that was pretty cool. I think that was the Cougars that did that group that we got to see a couple weekends back at the Georgia Select weekend. So that was a cool thing that they did. I know they always have the pink jerseys. They've had those like forever. But a lot of cool stuff highlighted. So that was cool. I think that tournament ended up getting cut short at Lake Point, I think I saw. But yeah, we're ready to get rolling. 2 more weeks to go. Man, summer's already about to be here, which is crazy. Interns are about to show up. Got to get those guys trained up. So looking forward to kicking everything off. But I guess first we'll recap a few Elite Eight matchups. I thought we picked some pretty good ones to be at. Avery or Ian, you probably got the most exciting game 3 out of all of us. Let's just start with that one.
That was a banger. I probably should have started my week there, honestly. All 3 games in that series were decided by 1 or 2 runs, and this one came down to I think it was bottom of the 8th walk-off single from Terrence Fung. But man, this back and forth matchup between Maris and BT was so much fun. I think we saw a ton of pitching in the matchup. We saw Jamie Bison's come out of the pen in the 6th and punch out 7 guys in a hurry. we saw Joseph Contreras with the 96 the night before, but back to my night. I mean, Carson Zagrin did a little bit of everything. He sprayed the ball over the field, started things off with a 2-run bomb in the first, had a barrel double down the line for an RBI, sprayed one backside for 2 more RBIs, ended up with 5 on the night. Terrence Bowen had 3 hits again on the night, like I mentioned, or excuse me, one hit, but the walk-off came through, sprayed one with the middle after leading the bases. Things got a little bit crazy in the bottom of the 7th as well. BT almost walked it off on a forced out play at the plate. The ump wasn't really aware of the situation. Called him safe on the bloop single from Kate Dawson. Sorry, my cat's causing issues here. But the place kind of erupted. BT, the whole team rushed the field, Gatorade toss. There was cups all over the field, and they reversed it and kind of like stole the air out of the whole place. I mean, it was probably one of the better.
That's tough to come back from for sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and just to do it the next inning was even more impressive. Shout out to the student section for BT in this one. They really showed out. They pretty much bumped me out of my spot. I mean, I willingly left, but like I realized the situation was building, and I was like, I probably should just go behind home or just move to the left side because there was just so many kids, and I wanted to give them that moment instead of be like, hey man, can you just like let me get in my spot? Like I really just like kind of had some feel in that one. But yeah, shout out to the student section on that one. They really showed out. Both teams, honestly, it was a pretty good atmosphere for a game. There was a ton of other schools that showed up just to watch the game. I saw some kids that I've been seeing all year long who was out there. There was some alumni there from Tech as well that just came out to watch the game. So it was a pretty cool environment. I mean, yeah, 8-inning walk-off to win a game 3 to move to the Final Four is pretty awesome. It's kind of obviously with Terrence Bowen being a transfer this year to BT, that's kind of like what you do it for. You know, that's what you bring a guy in to do, and that's what he came up in a big spot, got it done, and now BT is moving to the Final Four for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, that's all you can pretty much ask for in that matchup. We were kind of highly anticipating that. Luckily, got the game 3 and didn't disappoint. But yeah, for me, I started my week off at Cherokee Bluff North Hall, a matchup that we were kind of another really highly anticipated. It seemed like that top right quadrant of these brackets with Hoko Pope, Maris, BT, and then Bluff and North Hall. Like those were 3 that we were really looking forward to. But man, this Bluff team, we liked them from the beginning of the year, but like it's one of the more complete lineups that I've seen in the state. And especially with KT Thompson hitting the way he did. Obviously, he had a big night, I think hitting 500 on the doubleheader, but he had like 2 loud barrels, one big time fly out at the wall that Branson Crawford ran down and caught. But I just like if this lineup is clicking on all cylinders, they're going to be really tough to beat. Just from the upper class leadership in Kemp, KT, Bubba Coleman, Ethan England, and then you get guys mixed in like Bo Bruns, Bryce Fontenot, who was like highly impressive in the doubleheader, and then Jordan Wilkerson as well. So it's just like it's pieced together 1 through 9. It's Bubba Coleman led the game off with a home run that really set the tone. North Hall battled back a little bit in game 1, made it interesting, but it was just kind of the momentum from that offense was kind of all they could handle there. So now they take on a tough Peach County team with a 1-2 punch in Jackson Peavy and TJ Hudson. So it's going to be interesting to see how that matches up, but really impressed with that Cherokee Bluff lineup. Gabe Gowder pitched a great game on pitched a game on the mound in game 1, and then Landon Kemp got the job done in game 2. But bouncing to you, Avery, you were lucky enough to have the Hoko Pope series. I know some a little bit unexpected names kind of started the fireworks in that one, but talk us through that one.
Yeah, Hoko, they were really led by Logan Ebel, I believe is how you say his last name. Dakota Falls commit. He hit two-run bombs, just kind of really paced the offense for them in both games. But yeah, going back to game 1, it was back and forth for a little bit, and then Isaiah Gallison, I think it was his second or third hit of the game, and he with the gap in right center field and brought in to take the lead, and then just really set the tone from there on out.
Yeah, definitely. And that's awesome to see that from Logan. He was a guy that we've got to see in the past at Game On Scout Days, tournaments at Lake Point a lot. And he's always just one of those guys that's so solid. And to get a chance to step up in that moment is really, really cool for Logan. Obviously, Isaiah Gallison came through. But what about Big Tyson Gannis shutting it down in game 2?
Game 2, he came on after Will Hyde, who threw the ball really well for them as well. I think it was an inning and a third, and he struck out 3. It was up to 88 for me. It was really easy out of the hand. And
yeah, he's so fun.
Year, I believe.
Yeah, yep. He's been fun. Last year he was down with TJ, but back this year, and he's kind of knew he was going to be a big piece, and stepping up in that moment is big time. What else? Anything else? I hopped over Noonan versus Habersham Central for game 3. Shout out Maverick Chitwood. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but the dude kept it rolling in the Elite 8, went 7 for 8 in the doubleheader the first day. Started game 2 on the mound with the season on the line, took a line drive off the ribs in the second inning and bounced back and ended up throwing 4 more innings. Had to go to the hospital, get x-rays. It was negative. Got him a steroid, a Red Bull, and he was right back at it. But Habersham Central made game 3 a game. They came back and made it 2-2 in the 6th and made it interesting. And then Brody Campbell came through with a big 2 RBI single to put him up by a couple runs. Cole Gilmore was great on the mound. That's the first time I've got to see him. Ian, I know you've seen him a couple times. Hayes McGinnis came through with a big single in the 6th, right before Brody. And then Cole Gilmore actually led that inning off with a double as well. So cool thing for the senior to get that kind of chance to keep their season alive. And now they'll take on River Ridge, which that's honestly like we've seen both these teams in the playoffs. So I don't know if we'll make it over to that one, but that's one of the more intriguing matchups. I think they match up well with one another. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I went over to North
I was about to say
North Paulding and North Gwinnett.
Shout out Austin Neese in the doubleheader. I guess he went absolutely off. We've missed him because of injury, but now he's back, and it sounded like he carried them in that doubleheader.
Mm-hmm. I think he had two bombs, I believe.
Both to tie it, I think. Was it both to tie it? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Big Sanford came through for you?
Yeah, for sure. But North Paulding kind of jumped out early from bombs from Lawson Sheffield and Bryce Davis. And then it was 3-0, bottom 4th. Sanford comes up, 3-run shot, ties it. And then North Paulding, I think they put either 1 more or 2 more on the board. And I believe they were up 2 going into the bottom of the 6th, and it was like 2 outs, and then Schaefer go ahead 3-run shot, and then
that's
Ray
exciting.
James ran the door.
I bet that place was insane.
Yeah, it was electric.
Yeah, that's big time for them, and getting back to the Final Four. And shout out North Paulding, man. We almost had, what was it, 4 from the same region in the Final Four, right? Would have been 4? No, 3 with Etowah, North Paulding, and Walton. So that would have been insane if all of them made it. But yeah, good stuff there. Ian, what was your final game you saw?
No, I started the week with
we started
Etowah, Etowah Parkview doubleheader.
They did Etowah things.
Yeah, Etowah came prepared. Jumped out to an early lead in game 1 with a Cam Boulanger backside home run, and then they kind of added on from that. Trevor Condon had a home run and a double. Matthew Sharman was ridiculous on the mound, 12K, 1 hitter. The only hit was a infield single dribbler to third base that they barely beat out. So really shoved in that one. Game 2, they kind of put it on them as well. Deion Cole swung it extremely well in both matchups. They scored 15.
Went off.
15 runs. Yeah, a stupid amount of likes on the Instagram.
I think it's almost at like 500,000 views.
Yeah, shout out to Deion on that. He's really seeing the ball well and hitting for a ton of power and average and really spraying it all over the field. He's hitting balls backside. Malachi Washington stole a damn near a home run from him in the first inning, game 1, off like one of the more insane plays where Malachi probably could have broke his entire body slamming off this pole, but popped up and started like pounding his chest instantly because it was probably a more ridiculous catch you'll see at the high school level, but just like the slam into that chain link fence like he did was pretty wild because it was like straight pole, like it was like where that like batter's eye and then the left center meet, and he just like hit a full speed with like center of his body, and I was like, oh, there goes all the ribs, but just hops up, starts pounding his chest, and I was like, I thought we were having a game at that point, but Etowah just like again. That lineup is really tough. If you don't score runs early against that team, they can drop 8 runs on you pretty much anytime they want, and that's what happened in this one. They kind of just like stacked it on in game 2 and didn't make it a series.
Yeah, both. Shout out to Parkview. I mean, they were asking a lot out of some of those underclass guys on the mound, and just to get to the point where they did with Coach Reynolds' first year taking over for him. So great season. They're going to be back. Obviously, they lose Porter, but I mean, they pretty much returned.
Yeah,
majority of that team, right? Mendez, Malachi's back. A lot of those pieces. Bryce Davis. No, you just said Bryce Davis. What's the catcher's name?
Bryce Carter will be next.
Bryce Carter. Yeah. So they're returning a lot of their guys. They're going to be a team to beat next year as well. But if baseball doesn't work out for Malachi, we might see him in an acting role somewhere with these combat commercials or little ads he's like going through on the country club with their new drop. I thought that was pretty funny that Avery, I think they were at your game. Did you see them there? The combat guys?
I must have missed.
They went on like a tour in like their van. I don't know. They might not have been at the game. I think they were going.
Kids were already using some of those new combat country club bats like this week.
They're like 1 in 5,000. I mean, I should have bought them up on eBay and resell them. It sounds like. Better Baseball has said they sold out within like minutes of them, which is it's honestly genius. It's the same bat. They're just branding it differently.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like shout out to Combat. I mean, I could go to the basement and pull out my neon blue one that used to flatten when it was like the bat back in the day, like the loudest ping you've ever heard, and it would literally like get flat. And then they like went dead for a few years, and now they're back, which is cool. And they're selling bats that are the same bat, just different colors and stuff, which is really smart. Anyways, yeah, that was Elite 8. A lot of fun, a lot of good matchups on the horizon. With that, let's go ahead and jump into some Final Four stuff. We did drop our playoff performers today. Ian did his stat digging and a lot of huge performances across the state. I know he saw quite a lot, but like kick us off with this Wilcox County ECI matchup. Wilcox County had a mega performer in the Elite 8.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Nutt, a guy we know well, seen in a few different settings for us, been in a couple of showcases, and we've seen him with complete game as well, but absolutely shoved in his outing, going complete game, no-hitter with 19 Ks. Faced 23 guys, punched out 19 of them. It was pretty ridiculous on under 100 pitches, I might add, which is even more ridiculous to punch out 19 guys on sub 100 pitches.
The team put some runs up too throughout the season.
Yeah, they were hitting all year long. Deacon Harper also shoved for them, went 6 1/3 with 7 hits, just allowing a run and punching out 2. Also added a double. Yeah, that Wilcox County team really getting hot at the right time.
Him and Howell.
I mean, can really swing it too whenever he gets hot at the plate. So him being that confident and riding that momentum off a 19K no hitter is going to be huge for them moving to the Final Four.
Yeah, they'll take on ECI kicking off tomorrow, and then on the other side we got Lanier County. They kind of ended up in a tough three-game series versus Metter. Ended up getting that big win. They're putting up some runs too, but they're going to take on a Bowden team with guys like Will Huggins. Corbin Dietrich is over there as well now. But who'd you say that was that had the big week for Lanier County?
I mean Stone Carey. This week was big. Last week was even bigger. I think he had 3 or 4 bombs last week. This week he went 6 for 8 with a homer, a double, 7 RBIs, 6 runs. Even went ending in a third on the mound with 3 Ks and no runs, no hits. Ashton Cook was really big for them this week as well. Hit a grand slam, had 7 RBIs over the series as well. And then for Bowden, Kason Duncan came through with a big start on the mound. They haven't really had any standout arms that we've seen, like that we've really come to see this year, but came through with a complete game. 1 run, 5 hits, didn't walk anybody in 3 Ks on just 77 pitches. So seems like created a lot of contact, let his defense work, and got out of there with a quick one there to move Bowden on there. So that's huge for them, and they got big for that series.
Yeah, that's a good Final Four too. Assuming those games are probably down south for that championship series. But yeah, moving on to 1A Division I, we see that Gordon Lee Vidalia matchup. Aiden Goodwin shoved again. 13, 14 Ks.
Yeah,
and that was against Ks. Was that against Mobley or did Mobley go game 2?
Yeah, that first game against Mobley was huge. Mobley,
I figured
was also Gordon legit in that one. Punched out 12 and over 6. Gave up a couple runs.
That's a good Gordon Lee lineup too.
In that one, so also had a home run in game 2 in that series. Who else was big in that one? Maddox Miller had a big start for Gordon Lee in that one, going 5, allowing no runs.
That Piedmont kid for Gordon Lee, I think I saw he was in there too. What was his name?
Scaly.
Yep, Scaly.
Which is had a 500 week with 3 doubles.
He's like their closer on the mound too, up to 90. So he's pretty electric. But Vidalia,
Veer Patel again, man. Big week. He just continues to carry this team. Had another complete game start for them, only allowing a run with 7 Ks. Also had a couple RBIs, a couple walks at the plate. Guy just continues to show up in the playoffs for this team. And it's pretty much carried them all the way to a Final Four bid now. Like, there's been a few guys that have stuck out for them, but it's been him on the mound and at the plate. So it's been big to see that. And a guy we came to know earlier this year at a scout day, at a fall ID. So that was good to see that. And big for that Fidelity team as they got a tough matchup with Gordon Lee, who's riding a couple of big wins over some good teams.
Yeah, 20 seed from Vidalia too. So they're probably. They're obviously one of the lower seeds in the state, making a run at it. Played a tough social circle team. Battled Toombs County 3-2 and 2-1. So those are like high stake, high pressure games. Coach Nance over there, coming from a junior college, it seems like he's done a really good job with those guys in year 1. So heck of a run for them, taking on Gordon Lee tomorrow at Gordon Lee. Really interesting park at Gordon Lee too. I got up there this year. It's a fun environment, kind of old school stadium, concrete bleachers type, but they kind of pack it out in the outfield down the lines too. So that should be a fun environment there. Jumping over the other side, Pepperell and Blakely, 3-game series there. I think I saw I'm blanking. Switch pitcher. I do this every Bragan Cravey.
Yeah.
I saw he had a big week. Pepperell ended up getting the 3-game win in the game 3, 9-7. So now they'll take on Jeff Davis. So that's down there too. So that'll probably play into that a bit. But that's another big matchup on this side of the bracket. Both higher seeds, the 2 seed and the 3 seed coming into this bracket. So that should be a good one.
Yeah, I think that that Cade Middleton, Colby Beach matchup, if we do get that on the mound in that series, will be big. Both of them have been massive. It seems like every week this year for the playoffs. I think Colby had a complete game shutout this week with 8 Ks. I believe also hit a bomb. Yeah, also hit a home run. Cade Middleton had another 11K outing in his performance. So they've just continued to stack over this playoffs and been riding hot hands. I know JP Kilgo had a good week as well for Pepperell. So yeah, that team is getting hot at the right time. Like we talked about, that's all it takes this time. Again, high seeds, but when you're getting the right pitching and hot bats, you can beat anybody.
Definitely. Moving on to private. Man, Prince Avenue shutting out North Cobb Christian. That's tough. That's really impressive by them, shutting out that North Cobb Christian lineup. One of my favorites that I saw this year too, just with like their senior guys, kind of mix in the middle, and then you got the 3 sophomore outfielders and a couple of juniors mixed in there as well. So that's big time for Prince Ave getting that sweep, shutting them out. They'll take on Calvary Day now up here at Prince Ave, so that changes the game a bit. Prince Ave kind of tight quarters, usually has a really good crowd, gets pretty deep behind home plate as well, and I'm sure Calvary Day will be traveling well for that one. So that's a good matchup. We're really excited for Quinn Johnson on the mound for Calvary Day. I'm assuming game 1, and then I was just looking. I'm blanking. What's Prince Ave's ace, the junior?
Drew Payne.
Drew Payne. Yeah. I don't know how I forgot that. So that'll be a fun one there if we get that one. And then, you got guys like Judd Hartwell, Hudson Hill, Avery freshman.
Eli Hadaway has been really big for them too as well.
Is Burnett playing? I know
Burnett. Yes, sir. Yeah,
he's in there. Yeah, I know he battled some injuries last year, but he's definitely one that I really liked last year. Playing shortstop, I guess, when you were up there, Avery.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. So
yeah, looking forward to that matchup. Calvary Day's got Carter Hampton. I think I saw he hit a walk-off hit.
In game 1. Yeah, in game 1, I believe.
Yeah, against Providence. Tough Providence team. Avery, I know you really like those guys. Hopping over to the other side, Wesleyan and Savannah Christian. Man, Wesleyan battled against Lovett, ended up going 3 games, got the win 5-0 in that game 3. Savannah Christian, really surprising from Savannah Christian. We got to see them earlier in the year. They had a senior lefty, I can't remember his name, that I really liked that threw, and then they got Weston. What's his last name? Weston Hughes. Yep. But man, if you would have told me they're in this spot, seeing them at Georgia Dugout Club, obviously that's February, but things change. And they've played GHC, a team that we really like coming into the playoffs. They've really put together a strong run, and now they'll take on Wesleyan at Wesleyan tomorrow.
Yeah, the lefty Dawson Kelly had 8.
Yep, that's right.
Had 8 Ks over 5 in his performance this week to lead them in their game. And then mention Wesleyan, both McCullum brothers with complete game outings in that series. The young one Maddox going complete game shutout in his, so that's huge. Joe Crenshaw had a huge week for Lovett in that series, almost carrying them offensively to a series win. So that was big to see that as well. So Wesleyan, I believe, a lower seed, I want to say, in this, if I'm looking at it. I'll have it pulled up right here.
They were the 8th seed.
Okay, so not too low.
Seed. Yeah, they were in that, obviously, 1,000-team region and ended up having some pretty big wins there.
So that's Christian a huge –
was the 7th seed coming in.
So we're playing chalk there. That's fine.
Yeah. And speaking of GHC, shout out to Zach Coons. Just saw he fielded 1,000 or not 1,000. Yeah. Would it be 1,000? That'd be 1,000, right? Yep. Did not make an error this spring. So from a freshman, that's big time.
At short too. Every day freshman at short. Yeah, huge.
That's super impressive. We'll give Devin Gearhart some love too. He might be listening. He may or may not. That's his guy. That's his fielding guy. So Dev helps us out a lot at some events and whatnot. But yeah, good, really good stuff there from Zach. Yeah. That'll be a fun matchup with Wesley and Savannah. Looks like Wesleyan's student section is pretty big time too. I think they've always had a pretty good student section, even when Drew Jones was there.
That was the overrated video.
Yeah.
Luke was there. I mean, I was against him, but like obviously their student section.
Yeah. It looked like they pack it out. They do like little like post game interviews with the players, so it's kind of cool. They're all out in left field. They have like a big setup, so that should be a fun atmosphere at Wesleyan. Moving on to 2A, we got Morgan County and Franklin County. Really good to see Jason Griffiths back for Appling.
Yep.
Saw he had a big week. They ended up going 3 games against Morgan County, which was kind of expected. We were kind of expecting that one. But now they'll take on a Franklin County team that's really gotten hot. Played a Stevens County team that's in region, so they did see each other quite a bit. Low-scoring games there, 4-3 and 2-1.
Yeah, Easton Galley with a huge start in game 2 to clinch that series. Complete game, didn't allow a run, no walks, 4 Ks. Also had a double walk and an RBI in that series. So huge, big home run in game 2 from Ty Peoples. Obviously, I think that might have been 9 or 10 on the spring for him. Been a massive senior campaign.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one with Hudson and Ty and both Ties, Peoples and Tillery and Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson Huff's been hot, man, too. I mean,
hey, that's awesome. I know he's been in there like every week.
Every game, it's like 1 or 2 hits. It seems like, and he's batting in the 3-hole. Like he's getting rolling. He's finding his groove. And when you need him on the mound, he can jump on there too. So that's been awesome for that Franklin County team.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. Hopefully, maybe in the state championship. We'll see. Don't know if we'll get over there tomorrow or not. But moving on, Rockmart, Pierce County. Rockmart's kind of rolling through things. Callaway did kind of give them a little bit, not a scare, but tight games. Blake Harrington, we kind of knew that coming in, that one was going to be tight. But I saw Hunter Atkins had a big knock, obviously on the mound as well. Trey Luke and Nealon and all those guys keeping things rolling. I did see a newer name. I saw that you added for Rockmart that I hadn't.
Zucker?
Yep, that's who it was. He had a good
500 week. Yeah, I saw it. I think it was like 3 for 6 as well. A couple walks, RBI.
Nice.
Solid for that. The top of the lineup for them. Just really steady bat to ball lineup that's going to hit and get on base. They're going to steal bags. Yeah, exactly. And they're going to throw strikes. I think both Luke and Hunter Atkins had deep outings. I think Hunter went 6 2/3 and Luke went complete in his outing. So getting that every week, know you're going to get at least 5 from both of those guys is going to be huge, and the lineup's always going to hit.
Yeah, that's definitely big time having 2 lefties like that going back to back. Moving on to 3A, really excited for the rest of this Final Four. Pickens gets revenge on Harlem. Christian Starks, can't say enough about him jumping into that game 1 role in the playoffs. It's been great for them. AJ in game 2, and the offense did what they needed to do to beat Harlem and knock them off of their ultra impressive run that they've had over the years.
Yeah, I mean, they won that game. I believe it was their first game, and it was like, okay, you take all that confidence. You beat a team that hasn't been beat all year. You ride that. Obviously, Christian had a good start on the mound to get with the win. I think he had some big hits in both games as well. He got 11 Ks from AJ. A lineup we've talked about a lot. Everybody kind of had a hit. I think in game 2, 4 or 5 guys had extra base knocks. So that's big.
The thing. That's the thing with this Pickens lineup. Like they have a guy or 2 that can run into one, but it's like everybody can hit a wide range of arms. Like they can hit the 992, they can hit the 7880. Like you don't see them getting low scored too much. They just
have a couple lefties in there as well. It's a really balanced lineup they have to hit both sides of the plate, so it's been nice.
Yeah, and shout out to Troup County too, the run that they're on. Similar to Savannah Christian, we got to see them at Georgia Dugout Club early in February. It's so hard to get a gauge on these teams that time of the year, but I had Davis Munkus, lefty, sophomore, bat and arm for him. He's kind of been leading the way. Perry, He's been big for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him at Georgia Dugout Club against Sequoia, and he threw really well. As an upper 80s uncommitted junior for them.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Nice. Yeah, I did not get to see him that day. I think I saw Davis a little bit. And I knew, they were similar to that Dawson County team, facing them in the second round. I thought they were kind of similar teams. I think they had the edge on the mound. Obviously, they did end up edging Dawson out, but took on a Jefferson team, very similar. Jefferson had to have some big starts from guys on the mound. The lineup kind of kept them in it, but Troop ended up getting the best of them, 9-3 and 5-4. So they'll face Pickens now. That one will be down at Troop. Man, Pickens is having to travel, but I know Coach Williams is doing a good job keeping those guys locked in. They're definitely ready to get back or to keep this thing rolling. I'm assuming this is probably deepest in school history. I think.
I would think so too. And to beat teams like LaGrange and Harlan back to back, they're like as battle tested as you're going to see in the 3A playoffs is huge. Obviously, they're going to have a tough matchup in the Final Four because it's the Final Four, obviously, and then obviously moving to state championship if they get there. But the momentum is high with this Pickens team. They have the lineup to win, and obviously with two guys on the mound that can give you a start to win any night is huge.
Yep. And then other side, we talked about it a little bit. Peach and Cherokee Bluff. They got to go to Peach, which is obviously a game changer. Bunch of Metro boys headed down to South Georgia. Always gets interesting. I think Peach has to have a big start from Peavy. I think they have to have. I mean, that's how most of these series are, but especially this one, I think they have to have it. Bluff. I think Bluff's arms are going to be scrappy enough to kind of pitch to contact and keep them in it. But if Peavy's on, like I said, Bluff is one of the deepest lineups I saw this year. They can hit quality pitching, but Peavy's going to have to limit those walks. He can't have one of his 5 or 6 walk nights that he's kind of had in the past, but he'll strike out 15. Right. I don't think he can do that against this Bluff lineup. I think that they can capitalize. They can get big hits with KT in there, Bryce. If Bryce, Bubba, Ethan, if one of those guys run into one,
that's 33 bombs right there between those three.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
And you have KT, Bo, and Jordan Wilkerson behind it, so you're going to get on base all day long. So if you walk those guys, it's kind of a wrap, like we saw with Bluff against Lumpkin County. They walked with 5.
And I know Peavy loves the moment. That kid, 2-time future gamer, shows up. We had him starting Friday night. I know you weren't there yet, but his second year there, he was our Friday night guy for future games. Shows up, large Chick-fil-A drink, just got done pounding Chick-fil-A, and he goes out there and absolutely shoves. So he's just like, he's not scared of the moment. He's a fun one to be around for sure. So I know he's going to be fired up against those guys. Y'all are sleeping on Troop County. First little comment we got in here. No, I don't think we're sleeping. We do like Troop a lot. We got to see them at Georgia Yacht Club. We think it's going to be a good matchup. Not sleeping on anybody. I don't think we've slept on anybody this spring. But yeah, looking forward to this 3A Final Four matchup. I think it's going to be a lot.
And touching on Bluff one last time, this is their 3rd straight series on the road. So obviously beating North Hall on the road, and then the week before that, I think
tough. That atmosphere was really, really good too.
Yeah, so that's great for that team, a young team. It's in Bass. Obviously, not too many seniors in that lineup. Obviously, some senior pitching, but in the lineup, it's kind of younger. So good to see that in tough environments when you have to go travel 3 hours to face Peach County down in Peach County. I guess I don't know what the town is. I don't know. Yeah, so
it is Peach.
So in Peach.
That'll be fun. Coach Kemp, he does a good job with those guys too. So moving on to 4A, man, Wayne County, they got a really good draw in this side of the bracket. They're continuing to roll. Once again, another team we got to see at Georgia Yacht Club early on. They got a couple big arms. They got a lefty senior that can really pitch. They got Eli Grantham that's up to 90. Avery, I know you saw him. So they're going to host Cartersville. I saw Cartersville was already on their way down there earlier today. So business trip for them. They're taking it obviously really seriously. They're ready to get back to where they were last year. But I think this is a good matchup. I think the arms stack up pretty evenly, just with the way the scores and all have been. Nate Russell has been outstanding for Cartersville. Purdy's been doing what Purdy's doing this spring. It's been, one of the better springs in the entire state. So they'll have him going game 2 if they need it. Shiflett got some action this past week against St. Pius. So I think they really
start game 3 for him.
Yeah, they really needed that. He needed to get some innings in, I think, just in this Wayne County series, just in case it goes 3 as well. If you're just tuning in, we're on 4A right now. We're going up, so we're going 5A then 6A. We started with 1A this time. So that's a really exciting matchup. Our guy that's been
Rowan Blanton, I think, is going to be big in that series for Wayne County. I think he went 8 in his start. The game went extras and then walked it off in the bottom of the 8th in that one. So huge start for him. Big momentum builder for them to get the 8 and then get the walk-off rolling into a tough matchup with Cartersville that we've talked about a lot. So
yeah, and looking back at Wayne's season, I think that sweep over Ware is what kind of propelled them. They kind of hit a bit of a lull mid-season, winning some close games, lost a few, but then they sweep Ware, who had been rolling in that region, rolling in the state pretty much. And ever since then, they've really, really carried it, facing tough teams like Flowery Branch, Kell, really scrappy Kell team that we've got to see a lot of. So looking forward to this Cartersville-Wayne County matchup. We will have a guy down there for that one. So that one's going to be good to see Cartersville first time in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
Moving along, we get BT and Altoona. Altoona won a marathon in game 2 versus North Oconee. I think it went like 15 innings.
Yeah, 15 innings. What so we'll call that a 3-game series essentially.
Yeah, so. That's tough too. And North Oconee battled too, and Noah Allen had a good start on the mound. We had a guy over there for that one for a little bit. Patrick Hassan did really well for them. Who else? Coop on the mound in game 1 for Altoona. It's just hard to – it's good. This is going to be a fun matchup because it's so upper class heavy, both sides for these guys. They're similar type guys, senior versus senior, wanting to go out on top with a sophomore or 2 sprinkled in for both teams. So this is going to be a good one. I think that Altoona is going to go right at BT. From a mound perspective, they're going to see a lot of lefties. I think Altoona has 3 lefties for them that see considerable innings. And then you get guys in the lineup like Cruz Paul, Anthony Planetta, Parker Hope, Cooper Slayton, a few more seniors mixed in there. So I think this is going to be a good matchup. Coach Hansen knows how to win games. He's been in this spot before. And having a guy like Cooper Underwood leading the way is going to be really fun.
Yeah, and the guys like Davis Bergeron, and like you mentioned, Cruz Ball, who could be big on the mound as well for them, is going to be big. They know what they're going to get with this BT team. It's not like they're not familiar with who's on this lineup. Obviously, the BT pitching as well, it could be huge. Obviously, we've seen some big stuff out of Contreras in this playoffs. Obviously, had a 13K outing 2 weeks ago, and then up to 96 this past week. So, was that me?
No, that was me.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun series. Obviously, BT riding on a ton of momentum, winning a big series over Marist in that one, which was highly contested, no electric atmosphere. They get another one at home. Obviously, the student section is going to be big and loud again.
I think Altoona will travel. I think they'll probably travel.
Yeah, I think there were some kids from Altoona there in attendance just to gauge the scene this past week. So it was good to see that. Obviously, they're going to be ready for this one. I think it will travel. It's not that far of a drive from Altoona to Roswell over in that one. So I think it's going to be big. You can pack out both sides pretty well there, which I think is cool. I think
good standing room.
Yeah, there's a good separation too, so you can kind of have an atmosphere that both sides can kind of thrive in. So I think that's cool. I think that's going to be a really good one. We should have somebody there for that one. Actually, Avery, I'm pretty sure you might be going. I know you might be juiced about that one. You've been wanting to see BT for a while in these playoffs. Yeah. Bogarted you on the game 3 the other day and ended up being the best game of the year. So, but my fault.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. All right, jumping into 5A, we get River Ridge and Noonan. Like we mentioned earlier, both of these go 3 games. Both teams riding a lot of momentum. Both teams really well coached. And this River Ridge team really came out of nowhere, but they just played solid baseball like all year long. Avery, I know you saw them kind of early in the year, mid-year, and towards the end of the year, but they just kind of seemed like they found their pieces in the lineup, and it stuck, and they continue to roll. And got a guy like Will Schmidt going game 1 for them that you're going to get strikes from him. He's going to pitch. He's going to fill up the zone. I think if you get past that Noonan – 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Caden Truitt's kind of their middle section of that lineup. Had a big bomb in that game 3 that I was at. I think that these guys will match up pretty well. River Ridge has a guy like KJ Hart going for them. Big part at Noonan, really big part. It seemed like I think it was 325 down the left field line, like 380 in center, and then 310-ish in right. So big part there. I think that'll come into play with both these teams as well.
Yeah, with KJ coming off of probably his best start ever, probably I would imagine in his career. Went complete, game shutout, 3 hits, 3 walks, 14 Ks in the Elite Eight. So I think he's going to be.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was getting ahead of myself. I was gonna say not to mention Connor Johnson.
Like we talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Like him getting a huge Game 3 win over Dunwoody. Obviously, Avery, you saw him before that, and he was big in his start. I think that might have been right before the playoffs. So him riding a couple of huge starts in the playoffs. Now he went complete again in this one. Created a bunch of soft contact, 2 hits, no runs, two strikeouts again. Just did his job. And getting that in Game 3 and knowing you have that, even if you need him like in a fireman situation in a Game 2 where you need to win right now, or you feel like you have a chance to win, it's huge to have that confidence in a guy that you probably didn't know you had earlier in the season.
Yeah, definitely, Coach Runyon. I know Coach Runyon is chomping at the bit over there with them getting into this probably deepest that they've been. They might have been back to the Final Four back kind of when they had first gotten started. I know he had some good teams early on in their fairly new high school. But yeah, final one. Moving on to 6A. Etowah heads to Lowndes.
We got to touch on a little bit of this HOCO Loganville series. I
missed it.
I feel like we have
the whole right side.
Yeah, the 5A inevitable versus probably maybe one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the state with HOCO versus Loganville here. Obviously, Loganville 3-peat is something you can't turn your head at. They know how to win games. They swept Creekview this past week, scoring a total of 4 runs, getting great pitching from Jordan Johnson and Jake Bolin, which they've got all year long, and they're kind of stepping up in the right time. Some of those bats come through with big time moments. They don't make mistakes, and they're facing a HOCO team that we talked about a lot earlier at the beginning of this episode. Like I talked to Avery about when he was at the game. Like if Logan Ebel's hitting bombs every game or every other game for this team, like I really don't know how you stop the lineup from top to bottom. Like that team's gonna hit as well as anybody in the state, let alone probably the Southeast. At the top, you got guys like Kendall Jackson and Vic Gunn who just continue to hit. Get on base and just continue to cause havoc with their speed. Isaiah Gallison is doing what he does all year, all spring long. I think he hit over 500. He's doing it in the playoffs as well. He's hitting all over the field. And like I mentioned, if you have guys hitting bombs when the bottom half of the lineup now that can just flip the lineup like that till you get to the top again, it's kind of a wrap when you have two horses on the mound and Will Allen and Maxwell Hyde. So I think this is an extremely fun matchup. Like you can't say HOCO is like the clear favorite because they might be on paper. Like last year, Cartersville might have been the better team on paper going into that series with Loganville. And you know what happened in that one. So I don't know who you can count out in this one. I don't think anybody. So I think it's going to be really fun to see who comes out on top. I think it's got a chance to go 3. And if it does go 3, that's where it gets weird for both teams. Yeah. You know, I think there's guys for HOCO, like a Tucker Hale could throw a Game 3, which is huge veteran leadership there, but I don't know who Loganville has for Game 3. Maybe it's a bullpen game. Maybe they have somebody waiting in the wings, which I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
So it's
Trip Sapp. I mean,
Trip Sapp. So it's interesting. So like that's one I really like. am looking forward to possibly going 3 because I would just love to see the outcome there because those are 2 of the best teams in 5A matching up to face to make a state championship berth, which is pretty impressive. You know?
Yeah, and I think this is 2 of the bigger fan sections or fan bases in the state. So this home at HOCO, I think, is huge. It would have been the same way if it was at Loganville. 2 of the tougher places to play at, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, like you said, it's game 3 gets really,
I don't even know how to call it, you know,
Gorvat. I mean, you can see Gorvat on the mound for them. I know they kind of use him in closer relief type situations. I'm trying to think who else they got stuck in.
Yeah, they've also got Curtis Lindstrom.
Oh yeah,
low 90s.
Talked about him. Yeah, I didn't get to see him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Look, that's one guy that the name that wasn't in my head. And that's to see like a guy they just have waiting in the wings who they could possibly throw in a game 3. So yeah, it's pretty huge.
Yeah, and going back to HOCO,
big
that
time
HOCO defense for them is pretty electric.
The what
defense?
No,
The outfield defense for Hoko is insane.
Yeah, it's the most athletic outfield in the state by far.
And
Kendall drops.
Kendall has 62 stolen bases for the year as well, and Isaiah has 33. So
that's back-to-back years we've had somebody with 60 plus. I think Brightwell had 68 last year for Redan. So that's pretty insane to have back-to-back years with 60 stolen bases in the state.
Yeah, that's crazy numbers. Yeah, dang, how did I almost forget that matchup?
Yeah, that would have been tough. We would have got burned for that one.
I didn't mean to. I was ahead of myself. Biggest matchup in the whole bracket. I mean, in the whole state probably. So
I mean, it's a state championship matchup we're getting in the Final Four. Like, there's no doubt about
Elite
that.
Eight, we got one of the Elite Eight too with Pope.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
So
like 5A's been brutal. Like the whole left side. Like not to say these teams haven't had tough matchups, but like to not have to play any of those three of the Hoko, Pope, or Loganville is huge. Huge for your chances of getting to the state championship, regardless of who you're playing.
Yeah, agree there. All right, well, now we'll move on to the final 6A.
This is just heavyweight matchups on both sides here, man.
Yeah, a lot of experience, a lot of talent across this Final Four. I think, this is one of the easier ones to say, oh, that looks right, in the Final Four if we said this, February 1st. Lowndes has obviously done an amazing job getting back to what they were last year after losing the pieces that they lost. You said Heath Davis had a walk-off bomb against Brookwood, right, which was big time for them. Sophomore really stepping up. Brinson Roundtree, we've mentioned on here, has been a huge piece. Pitching was their biggest question mark coming into the year. We got to see Coach Page in January talking a little bit about it, and I think they knew that was their weak spot, but they obviously found that guy in Brinson, and then you get senior leadership in Garrett Moon stepping up, and then you got guys like Easton Blanton thrown in the mix. That's going to see some good innings.
Been huge in the playoffs. Like, he wasn't a guy who got a ton of innings in the regular season, and then now they're throwing him in the fire in these big situations, and he continues to step up and with big time results. It seems like every week, so that's huge. Garrett Moon and Drew Inman as well have been big for them.
Inman's another one there. So that one's gonna be fun. Like we got a comment here, like going to Lowndes is no joke. We talked about Hoko, Loganville environments. That's Lowndes is top 3 in there too. Like it's a tough place to play at. We've been there for events. You've been down there quite a few times, so that's going to come into play. That's really going to come into play.
And I think who they face so far in this place, obviously we've talked about Etowah a ton. Obviously the lineup is the lineup. But with Lowndes facing a guy like Reed Worley in the first round, who's going to be an elite right-hander, and you're going to have to face an elite right-hander in this series, and then facing a guy like Joe Soto last round with Brookwood, who's a really good left-hander, before you face another really good left-hander in this series. So I think Hoko has seen some. I think Lowndes has seen some series where they can see some talent and really build game plans for this series. Obviously, you can only build so much on paper. It comes to what happens on the field, but they're getting hot at the right time. I know Coleman Lewis had 2 bombs this past week as well. But like we talked about with Etowah, getting Deion Cole hot at the right time is going to be huge for them. Colin Anderson's going to mess around and get right. I know he's been cold for the last few weeks, so if he gets hot in the series, he's already put a ball over the monster they just built there in left field there at Lowndes, so he knows how to hit there. They went down there earlier this season. Pretty cool that both these teams open their year matching up, and now they face each other in the Final Four. So that's awesome. pretty neat. Obviously, with Lowndes being the 7A state champion back-to-back, and then Etowah being 6A is also another layer you can add to this series. So it's got all the intrigue you can want for a 6A Final Four matchup. Obviously, the talent on the field is going to be as real as it gets as well. So I'm fairly fired up for this one. Obviously, we could have somebody down there. I'm not sure if we will, but there's a good chance of it. Obviously, it's hard to miss that one, but I'm pretty fired up. And then on the other side, with Walton, North Gwinnett is like a blue blood matchup with a ton of seniors and a ton of leadership and a ton of experience, and guys know how to win. So I'm really excited for the quality of baseball we're going to get in that series.
Yeah, and the thing is with Walton too, the majority of the Walton lineup return. Obviously, lost some big pieces for them, but getting a guy back like Highland Brown has been huge for them. A guy that was one of the better arms in the state coming through freshman sophomore. He was kind of the next guy and just battled some really tough injuries. Came back too early, got hurt again. Just one of those nagging deals. And he's finally back, which is awesome to see. It's always fun to see a kid get back in it like he has and lead them through the playoffs like he has. And then what was the other? They had another big arm, Siegel.
Josh Siegel's been really big. Like I think he's had
Haber
2 straight
well.
really big outings as well. Like again, having those 1-2 strike throwers, they have an extremely good defense behind them with really good defenders up the middle and across the outfield. So they know their defense is going to work behind them with these way the pitchability arms that they have at the top. So they have guys to get guys out. Deep arms in the bullpen too. Yeah, Killiman's going off. Matthew Haber's going off right now. Obviously, Logan Wyben can change a game with one swing. So that's a big time bat there. Jackson Taylor's been big at the plate. He's been batting at the 1 or the 2 hole and coming through with a hit every night. Parker Dastow is a bit as well. Like it's a really deep lineup, and you can go position for position with every one of these guys with North Gwinnett, and it'd be a really hard decision because there's a ton everybody matches up, whether it's a junior or a senior, and then you're going to get some young guys like we talked about with Austin Neese, and you got guys like Dom Rossi who's came through big for Walton down the stretch as well, behind the plate and with the bat.
Yeah, definitely. And like we said, I think they match up super well against North Gwinnett. Getting Austin Neese back and swinging it the way he did in that North Paulding series is really big for them. Obviously, Ryan Hall sets the tone for them and that lineup we've talked about. Avery, you saw it. Sanford mixed in there. Did CJ Brown play when you were there?
He pinch hit and he walked. So.
Gotcha. So I saw him earlier in the year. He swung it well. So keep an eye on guys like that. Coming off the bench in a big spot.
Even as a pinch runner, I saw him in a pinch runner role as well. He can change the game on the bases as well. I think he fits just a ton of roles. Jake Gaskell's another guy on that team. Like he might have not whipped anything this past series, but he went off on the series, hit a couple of bombs as well. They get that series at home, which is big. I think they've had 3 straight series at home, so they're riding some momentum there against some good competition with McEachern and North Paulding as well. So 17 seniors, a ton of good. Obviously they might have faced the 3 hardest matchups so far in the playoffs with Forsyth Central, McEachern, and North Paulding. All 3 teams, they all present different things, so you have to beat them in different ways. So I think those are big ways to get yourself to the Final Four when you have to beat a team like Walton, who's going to play really quality baseball and put pressure on you, probably innings 1 through 7.
Yeah,
and then I can't go without mentioning Nathan Schaefer as well.
Talked about it earlier. He's been just hitting a ton of bombs, man. Like he hit a bomb off shot, turned 93 around. I know he had a walk or game time, or might have walked it off in game 1 in this series.
And then walk off, and then for me the go ahead bomb as well.
Yeah, he's just doing it. Flagler College is getting a winner with that one for sure.
Yeah. Bignell sprinkled in there as well too. So yeah, like we said, both these lineups, they got guys 1 through 9 that can hit. They got guys that are going to throw strikes. So this one should be a really good one. Looking forward to both of these. We were talking about earlier games at Coolray. I texted the GHSA guy. He did not text me back, unfortunately. But games at Coolray next week, and then Rome and Georgia Southern, right?
Yes, that's where I don't know which classifications. I believe it's 4 through 6 at Coolray. Like that would make the most sense. I think that's what they did last year was 5 through 7.
Wait, because there was no Truist last year, right? We didn't no Truist.
No Truist last year. Yeah, I think it was the same setup as this last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, playing at Truist is cool, but I at least at Gwinnett you can get a little bit of feel. Rome's a lot of fun. Even if all the
Rome's electric
because you can still pack out Rome. Like Rome's still pretty packed.
We were just there. Me and Avery were just there the other day. And it was just like you could experience the feel and it was going to be more packed for a high school game than it was for the minor league game we were there for. But yeah, I think you can really pack that place out. Last year I was there for Stars Mill and Cherokee Bluff in that matchup, which was big, and it packed it out for that one. So That's good to see.
Yeah, I had Calvary Day in Harlem there, I think. Avery, you might have been there. No, I think Joseph was there on that one. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Remember last year, like damn near flooded the day
the
of.
dugout.
Yeah, like I got a picture of the dugout that day, and it was like literally water to the edge of the dugout. It's the craziest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah,
so many people lost.
Yeah, I think me and you stood in the rain for like 11 hours, Ian, but it was
Dude,
that was rough.
That's when I knew you were a dog that day, bro. When we stood out there for 11 hours, and you just were like, "All right, so what time is to be back here tomorrow?" I was like, "Okay, this is a done deal here." So we got one. But yeah, like that was a great time. Like your brother was there on one of those days too.
Yeah.
With it too. We were like hanging out in the concourse with like the government cops and stuff. It was an interesting day. But yeah, it was fun. I'm ready to do it this year. I think we're going to do it bigger. Obviously, we have some the content and the social media and the videos this year at the next level. I feel like for our group, and feel like it can continue these last 2 weeks. Yeah, moving into summer, which you obviously know is things don't stop.
Yeah, it's been an awesome spring. I mean, record breaking year for games for us. We got to go back and do a full tally, but well over 200, 250, I would think easily.
I think we might touch 300 or close to it. I would imagine.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. We're gonna try to cover some different games this week. Obviously, got to be at certain ones. Just you got to be there. I may try to chase down 2 teams we haven't seen in the playoffs yet. Obviously, next week we're going to try to see as many as we can. See if we can make something work down at Southern. It stinks. You got to go all the way down there. I'm glad they're going down there for it, but like just at least.
I wonder where Private's going. I wonder if Private's going there or going to Rome. That's one I'm not sure. I imagine it's going to be cool, right? I imagine it's going to be Southern though.
And I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised they're doing that too with the renovations that Southern has as well. So we talked about last year with all the rain. It was like, let's just get some temporary bleachers and let's pack out Lake Point.
Oh my God, dude.
We
just need like one stadium field at Lake Point, and it would be a wrap. Oh, it would be a wrap.
That would be fun. Which is surprising. Not having any turf is tough in the state championship. Just hopefully we get the weather out of the way this week. Tomorrow looks like we're going to be okay, right? Maybe a little bit of stuff early in the morning.
Yeah, it looks a little bit sketchy, but I'm not like trying to like put any bad juju on it because I don't want any delays for this week.
I usually don't even look at it. I'm always just like, yep, it's going to happen. But yeah, we'll get it in regardless. It's tough. It makes it tough on those teams traveling too. Like these guys that aren't close, they're staying in hotels. You may have to stay an extra day, things like that. Always comes into play there. But yeah, with that being said, guys, good luck this week. We're pulling for everybody. We're looking forward to these Final Four matchups. We're going to be as many. Yeah, we're going to be at as many as we can. If you do know we're coming, make sure you save us our nook. We got our chairs ready to throw down spots, but it gets hostile. It gets hostile this time of the year. We're there early, which in my opinion, is first come first serve. But you get some guys that they got to get their juju sitting in their certain spots. We get some parents fired up every now and then.
I have no comments on any of this part of it. But I am the first person in the park usually every time just because I'm a sicko and like it's just I don't care about being there. So but it doesn't work even then sometimes. So anywho.
Yeah, save if you do know we're coming though. Like North Hall hooked it up last week. There was a grandma of one of the coaches that was like guarding this entire bench for me. Like kids would come over and say, like, "Are you media? Are you with Prep Baseball?" And she was just like all over, which is awesome. Shout out to Coach Flo and those guys for that, which was really fun. But it's cool. Just we don't have to stress about like when teams do that for us. We don't have to stress about the angle. Like we want to get the best angle for you guys because it does come into play. Like bad angles don't get views. Good angles get views. Like we have so many videos that kind of go to show that. So we want to get the best angle for you guys. But obviously, we know parents got their favorite spots and all that stuff. We're just messing around about that. But we will be there early. You will see some stools in spots early. I feel like
people know what my stools look like at this point. They're just like around all these different areas.
Yep. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. Good episode here. Final Four second to last one of the high school season. We'll have to do one next week, of course, to highlight these championship matchups. Keep it rolling. Playoff performers went live earlier today. Well, we got 50-plus names in there, which is awesome. Yeah. It's fun to comb through those stats and get those. Ian's been crushing that, finding all those stats for you guys.
It's been cool to find games that you're not really watching and then seeing some of these insane stat lines like the Johnny Nuts of the world dropping 19 Ks and no-hitters. So
yeah, it's been cool. We dropped our 6A to 4A recaps on Saturday. So if you want to check out those, we kind of just give a little brief update or recaps of each game, throw some highlights in there from each players, and then we'll drop our previews. We'll go kind of in depth on some of these, all these matchups coming up tomorrow. We'll drop it kind of midday tomorrow, so you can check that out before your game and whatnot. Outside of that, guys, thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to kicking things off tomorrow. Appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you guys.
Appreciate all the comments this week as well, boys.
Yeah.
Keep those rolling in. Yeah, we need that. So if y'all are watching, drop some love, some questions, whatnot. Just continue to do that.
And don't forget, all these are on YouTube afterwards. If you tuned in late or missed your classification or whatever it may be, we do have all of our episodes on YouTube. Like we said, we want to get better and better with this each year. Summer will be tricky. I don't know what exactly we'll do in the summer. May try to film it at Lake Point or something, but we'll figure something out. We take it day by day here for the most part, especially this time of year. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the fields.
Let's have a week.
There it is. See you guys.